Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to my Theory Tuition series where I'll guide you step by step through the ABRSM Theory grades. There are so many resources available to you to help you on my website. So if you go to sharonbill.com, there are some free PDF information sheets, and if you download these, they're available in US letter or A4 and they'll accompany each step of this series. So I'll be making plentiful reference to these sheets, so do access those. There's a page which links to all of my YouTube video tutorials there, and you can also access information about the books that I have available. We're at the end of this ABRSM Music Theory Grade 1 and you may be considering taking the exam. I've written how to take your ABRSM Music Theory exam. It's an exam techniques and guidebook giving you lots of tips and hints on how to make the best preparation for your ABRSM Music Theory exam, and also how to best use the time when you're actually sitting the exam paper. So you can find out about that there. So go to sharonbill.com, it's all there for you. And so we are cracking on through this Music Theory and Practice Grade 1 workbook, so you need to grab hold of that, get your pencil nice and sharp, make sure you're all ready to go. You will need an eraser and a ruler, and we're turning to the very last page in the book. If you've got to this point, well done, you've done a lot of work and you're really doing well to get to this point. So let's have a look at this, using this as a revision exercise. If by the end of this book you now feel like you're getting to grips with the knowledge that we've worked through, then if you're feeling brave, by all means just crack on through this and have a go and try without looking up any answers, without peeping at all, and just see what it is that you can remember straight off the top of your own head. If you want to do that, that's a valuable exercise. If you don't feel quite ready for that, don't worry about it. We can use this as a last bit of revision. There's still plenty more for you to go at to help you in your preparation and revision. And so I will now give you the letter names that refer to the PDF sheets. So each of these PDF sheets have all got the letter names. I'll refer to those. And also it will refer to the chapters that I've allocated letter names to in previous videos. So I'll show you where to look back to find the information if you still want to do that. And so let's look through. We're going to be referring back to this piece of music that they've given us, and we're going to be answering questions based on that using the knowledge that you've gained working through this whole theory workbook. So we need first of all to decide, add the missing word in this sentence. The melody is written in the whichever clef. So you need to be looking at D or E to find the answer to that. What is the key of the melody? And that will refer you back to section L to be able to answer that question. Draw a bracket over any of the pairs which are a semitone apart. Now here you can either look at K or you can also look at L there, and that will give you a clue of how to approach this question here. What degree of the scale is the first note in bar 3? So to answer that question about degrees of the scale, we need to look at L again and also N. That will access that information. Give the full name of the last note. So here again we need to be referring to D to get your answer to that question. How many crotchet or quarter notes are there in a bar? So in order to remember what a crotchet or a quarter note is, you need to be looking at either A or F. Which bar contains tied notes? We discussed that topic in the video which was associated with page H in your PDF or in your workbook. Now then, here tick the boxes for the words which you think describes the music. And so you're going to have to glance through all of the information that they've given you and interpret that to be able to give this a proper consideration. You will also need to perhaps look at section Q to get your performance directions and Italian terms. More than anything though, you just need to be looking very carefully at all the clues they've given you. Which is the highest note in the melody? So again, you're referring to section D, and you've got to peer through the music for that. Answer true or false to the following sentence. The melody uses all the notes of the G major scale. So you need to refer to section L to find that. And then this last question, copy out bar 3 to the end. And they give you all the information they require. That's just a matter of looking carefully and taking your time to be neat and tidy. There's not much thinking involved in this, but it still gives you a quick 10 marks in the exam if you do a thorough job of that. So I suggest that you just press pause and work through that, glancing back at the relevant sections to help you find the answers. Do that in your own time, and then when you feel like you're ready and you've done the best that you can, do attempt every question. It's always better to make a mistake and learn by your mistakes. It's okay, we're working in pencil, we can always erase and have a go. You learn better by your mistakes, and then when you're ready, re-access into this video and I'll go through the answers with you. And so I'm hoping that you've had a go at this on your own. Don't worry if you've made some mistakes. It's better to try and make a mistake. That is much more helpful to you. Don't just copy the answers as I tell them to you, because that won't really help you to retain the information. So do try it on your own first. I'll now go through these answers with you though. So add the missing word in this sentence. The melody is written in the which clef? That's the treble clef. If you refer to section D, you will find that there. I said D or E, so you knew you had to choose between treble or bass. I didn't want to give you that too quickly. What is the key of the melody? This refers to section L, where we discussed all of the major scales that we've studied in this grade. And so the clue for that question is here. We have a key signature of 1 sharp, which is F sharps. Every good boy does this football. And we know that F sharps tells us we are in the key of G major. So now it says draw a bracket over the pairs of notes which are a semitone apart. There are 2 ways you can go through this question. Section K tells us how to look for a semitone, and I always suggest that you draw for yourself a piano keyboard. So if I just quickly sketch a bit there to show you. No marks for artistic integrity here. Just let's quickly get the job done. And so, if you just quickly do that, in the exam you get a piece of scrap paper that you can make use of. You can even do that and you can see at a glance your semitones. Now this would be quite a long-winded way of answering this question by glancing through all of the next door notes and seeing which are semitones. So here you'd think, oh well, there's a next door pair of notes. We've got F to E, but don't forget it's F sharp to E, which is not a semitone. Now let me just sort of take you away from that method and refer you now to L. There's a much quicker way of approaching this question. We know that we are in the key of G major, which is notes G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. The key signature will take care of this sharp straight away. Now we know from section L that the semitones are between notes 3 to 4, 7 to 8. So 1, 2, 3 to 4, 5, 6, 7 to 8. And so actually all of the thinking is immediately done for us because we know we're looking for next door notes B and C, F sharp and G. And so now at a quick glance, we can just glance through, are there any F to G, because remember the sharp is already taken care of, or any B to C. So here we are, we've got B to C. So we know that's a semitone. Here we've got a G to an F, which is F sharp. Then we know that's a semitone. And actually then we've got F sharp to G, so we can do that again. Let's have a look, A to B. So here we've got a G to F sharp again. E, F, G again. And that's it. So if we just think the major scale pattern already tells us where the semitones are, that's a much quicker way of answering this question than having to figure out every single note and see if it's a semitone or not. So that quickly answers that question if we remember the information in L, that 3 to 4, 7 to 8 are our semitones. So that's job done now. Let's carry on. So what degree of the scale is the first note in bar 3? So we need to know that we're in G major. So L will give us that, but we've already answered that in this question. So we already know that we're in G major. So G is the first degree of the scale. And so if you refer to section N, that tells us how to count up the steps of the scale. So the first note in bar 3 is Every Good Boy, B. So from G to B is 1, 2, 3 steps away. So it's the third degree of the scale, G, A, B. You can see that there as well. G, A, B is the third degree of the scale. Okay, let's crack on. Give the full name of the last note. Now there's a clue here in saying full name rather than just name. So there's just something to be aware of there. So let's glance at the last note in the extract. Here it's a note F. Remember the space is spelled face, F-A-C-E, and the treble clef. So there's a note F. However, that's not the full name because don't forget we've our key signature to take into account. So the full name, we're actually here playing an F sharp. So the full name is F sharp, or you could just write it in words if you prefer. There we go. Next one. How many crotchet or quarter beats are there in a bar? So if you refer back to either A or F, that will remind you that this is what a crotchet, or this way if you depending on how high or low it is, or a quarter note looks like. That's your 1 beat note. And also there is also a quick way, I perhaps should have said, sorry, if you look at B, that tells us the time signature as well. So we know this is common time, which is 4/4, and we can check by there's 1 beat, there's 2 beats, there's 3 beats, there's 4 beats, and so we can answer that way. How many crotchet beats are there in a bar? 4, or quarter note beats. Okay, now which bar contains tied notes? This is where you've really got to keep your eyes peeled because the same symbol is used in different ways. Be careful because we have a slur which joins lots and lots of notes together like a general umbrella symbol, which means play them smoothly. Here, a tie is next door note head to head, and they've got to be exactly the same pitch. That's a tie, which is a timing issue. That's a slur, which is a performance issue to play smoothly. So we've got a tie here. That's not a tie. We've got a tie here, joining this B to this B. That's not a tie. Here, we've got a tie as well, joining those two A together. That's a slur, so that doesn't count. That's a slur, so that doesn't count. But within that, we have a tie, joining those two note G's together. So we actually have 1, 2, 3, 4 tied notes. So which bars contain tied notes? It's bars 1, 3, 4 and 5. There we go. Okay, now we have to use a little bit of intuition here to answer this question. It says tick the boxes, so we can do more than one, for the words which you think describe the music. Is it smooth? Well, I would suggest yes, because we've got all of these slur marks telling us to play it smoothly. Is it loud? No, because P means piano, which is quiet. And so yes, it is quiet. Is it slow? Now we know that it's slow because here we have this metronome marking which tells us 54 crotchet beats per minute. If you think 60 crotchet beats per minute is 1 beat per second, approximately that. It's going to be even a little bit slower than that. It certainly isn't fast. That would be twice as much. So it's a slow piece for sure. It's not fast. Now here, is it merry or is it sad? Now, just by a process of deduction, we could think, well, it's smooth and it's quiet and it's slow. It's unlikely to be merry, so you'd opt for sad really anyway. However, there's some extra information here where they give us the title of the piece that the extract is taken from. It's a Ravel piece of music and it's called Pavane for a Dead Infanta. It's a bit morbid really. So it looks like Pavane for a Dead Infant. It's like, oh dear, it's a very, very sad piece. So you wonder what motivated him to write that really. So it's a very, very sad piece of music. Music is always telling a story. It's always, even if it's just a dance piece, it's always portraying some sort of mood. And in this case, it's portraying a very sad and somber mood. It's very melancholy, so we would choose sad. So don't forget to look for all of the clues to answer those sorts of questions. Okay, let's crack on. We're nearly at the end now. Which is the highest note in the melody? So remember, we're in treble clef, so you can refer to D to make sure you've got those notes accurately represented. And let's look. None of it's very high. So far, this is the highest note. Are there any more higher than that? No, that's the highest note, F, A, C. And so the highest note is note C. Answer true or false to the following sentence. The melody uses all the notes of the G major scale. So let's just think. We've already written out the G major scale here. If you hadn't, you'd do so now. And we need to check, is there a G? Yes. Is there an A? Yes. Is there a B anywhere? Yes, every good boy. Is there a C? Yes, next door note. Is there a D? Now it may not go up to a high D, but there's definitely a low D there, so yes. Is there an E? Yes, next door note. Is there an F? Yes, next door note, F sharp, so we're correct there. And then we're back again to G, so yes, every single note of the scale is represented. And so now that's all the thinking done. No more brain work really. Well done, we've got through that. We've just now got to do a little bit of copying, so make sure your pencil is nice and sharp, or just extend your mechanical pencil to be ready. This would give you 10 points in the exam, so make sure that you copy out the correct bars. No point doing a fab job and it's the wrong bars, sadly. So we're going from bars 3, 4, 5 to 6 here. So we can't really align our bars to match. We're just going to have to choose 3, 4, 5, and the last little bit is 6. So just to make sure I'm going to get exactly the right bars, I'm going to put bar 3 here, 4, 5, 6. So hopefully you've had a go at this yourself, so I'll be as quick as I can. And whilst I'm doing this, I just want to recommend to you, because this is the last section in this book, this does not necessarily mean that you've finished the work and you're ready to take the exam. This has just been a revision purpose to help you to sort of revisit all the information that we've covered so far in this book, I strongly recommend that you now go ahead and buy for yourself some previous exam papers from past years. They're at a relatively inexpensive price, and there's so many years for you to go at. You've got lots and lots of past papers, and I really recommend that you do buy some of those and attempt some past exam papers. You can do the first one or two just as a bit of an adjustment to get used to taking the exam, but then I suggest you pop yourself under exam pressure, set yourself a time so you know that you're only going to use the allocated time. You get an hour and a half in the exam, and work through a paper from start to finish without peeping at all. It doesn't matter if you get lots and lots of mistakes, just force yourself to get through that exam paper, and the more you do, the easier it will get. Again, I do recommend that you have a look at that book that I've written that gives you lots of techniques of how to sit and do that paper. Don't just work your way through it from beginning to end, job done. You need to read the questions through carefully so you're not going to throw any marks away. If you've got a teacher who's going to help you to mark through those papers, great, but you can buy model answers, so they will give you the answers to the papers. However, don't tempt fate by buying the exam papers and then copying the answers. Maybe don't even purchase the model answers until you're sure you've completed the paper, and then when you've completed the paper, then purchase the model answers, and then you can mark it and learn from your mistakes there. That way you're not going to be tempted to cheat. Perish the thought. Nearly done. Now, because this here is an incomplete bar, you'll notice they've put etc. at the end because it's just sort of stopped at the end of the phrase, not the end of the bar. And so to do so accurately, we must copy that also. So I've got the clef, I've got the key signature. There is no time signature required because that only comes at the beginning. There are no dynamics marked at all in the extract here. It only tells us at the beginning and it stays quiet all the way through. So the only thing I've got to do now is the articulation. I've got the tie, got the tie, I've got the tie. So I just now need to make sure I put these slur marks in accurately from there to there, and then from bar 4 all the way to the end. There we go, and that's that completed. So I really urge that you do attempt some past exam papers. I hope that's been helpful to you. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed that, give me a thumbs up, give me a like. If you can subscribe to my channel, you'll stay updated. Please do access all the resources available to you. If you visit sharonbill.com, it's all there for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.